Command, we have an unregistered contact drifting into the exclusion field.
Description?
It's humming, sir.
Officer Kess Bellorin's first mistake was calling the vessel harmless. His second mistake was saying it over an open channel. He hadn't meant anything by it. The thing drifting into the Ashport exclusion field looked like everything the scrap haulers usually dragged through. Dented, sun-bleached, trailing a lazy plume of atmosphere that meant nothing inside it was pressurized anymore. Just another dead hulk on its way to auction. 90,000 kilometers coreward, Dale Prentice was humming a country song nobody else in the galaxy had ever heard, one hand loose on the toe clamp controls, the other nursing a coffee he'd bought 4 systems ago and completely forgotten about. He liked this run. Quiet. No traffic. Nobody radioing him about parking fees before he'd even docked. Depot 7. This is Prentice Salvage. Dragging in Lot 41, 6 units. Request a berth before my coffee gets any colder. Nobody answered. Dale shrugged, kept humming, and eased the tow line forward like a man backing a boat trailer into a lake he'd used 100 times before. Kess frowned at his console. 6 units. The manifest had said 1 hull, maybe 2. He counted again. 6 shapes, strung together on a tow line like tin cans behind a wedding car, dragging through consortium space with the energy signature of a dead moon. Depot 7. Unidentified contact. Please confirm registration, he said, and got a burst of static and someone humming. He tried again. Same static. Same humming, cheerfully off-key. He filed it as a translator glitch and moved on because 6 dead hulks being towed by 1 unarmed civilian tug was, statistically, nothing worth waking his supervisor for. He would remember that thought later, with considerable regret. He tried one more hail anyway, mostly out of boredom. Unidentified tug. This is Ashport Control. You are entering a restricted survey corridor. State your business. Dropping off scrap, Dale said cheerfully. You guys got a vending machine over there, or should I bring my own snacks? Kess stared at his console for a long moment, decided the question did not require an answer, and typed up a note for the shift log instead. Civilian contact. Cooperative. Mildly confusing. Dr. Yara Thist got the scan request forwarded to her at the worst possible time, which was to say any time at all, because nothing about her job was ever convenient. She pulled up the hull profile, out of habit more than concern. Then she sat very still. The silhouette matched nothing in the active registry. It matched something in the sealed registry, the one she'd only ever seen referenced in footnotes, in reports stamped with clearance levels she didn't have. A whole class the consortium's own historians had spent 40 years insisting was destroyed in the last war, along with everyone unlucky enough to have been standing near it. She ran the scan twice, because the first result was obviously a sensor error. It wasn't. Kess, she said, very calmly, in the voice she used for things that were not calm at all. I need you to tell me the human is towing scrap, and not 6 intact Widowmaker-class hulls. Kess didn't answer immediately, and that silence told her everything the sensors hadn't. Dale eased Unit 4 past a NAV buoy, whistled the chorus he'd forgotten the words to, and radioed the depot again. Still humming down there?
Copy that.
I'll just find my own spot. He'd been doing salvage runs long enough to know most depots didn't care where you parked as long as you filled out the tag afterward. He picked a nice open stretch, cut the tow line, and let the first hulk settle with the gentle bump of a shopping cart rolling into a curb. Somewhere behind him, every alarm at Depot 7 went off at once. Grand Marshal Vokdrenner had commanded 3 border fleets and personally overseen the decommissioning of an entire war generation's worth of hardware, and he considered himself difficult to surprise. He revised that opinion the moment Yara's report reached his desk. 6 of them, he repeated, slowly, like the number might change if he said it wrong.
Parked.
In a scrap field. By 1 human, in an unarmed tug, humming. He's asked twice for a berth assignment, Kess offered unhelpfully. Vox stared at the feed. The human was now securing tow cables with the unbothered efficiency of someone tying down a boat for the weekend, entirely unaware that he had just parked 6 vessels capable of ending a war the consortium's grandparents were still having nightmares about. Get eyes on the weapon systems, Vox said. Tell me they're finally, mercifully dead. They were not. Yara delivered that particular piece of news with the calm of someone defusing a bomb by reading the instructions aloud. The reactor cores weren't just intact. They were warm. Not active, not hostile, just idling, the way an old truck engine ticks after being switched off, waiting for someone to turn the key again. They're not decommissioned, she said. They're parked. Vok didn't answer, because there wasn't a version of that sentence he wanted to hear twice. By the time Kess worked up the nerve to hail the human directly, his voice cracked slightly on the first word, a fact he would later deny to anyone who asked. Unidentified pilot. Do you understand what you are transporting? Dale glanced up from his tablet, mildly surprised the depot had finally found its radio. Scrap Lot 41. 6 units. Earth registry. Tagged for parts or auction. Whichever pays better. Why, you guys want first pick? Those vessels, Kess said, choosing each word like it might detonate, carry ordnance capable of cracking a planetary crust. Yeah, probably, Dale agreed, unbothered, still filling out his tag. They're old Widowmakers. Navy retired the class after the war ended, mothballed a couple thousand of them out past Jupiter. Every quarter somebody hauls a batch out here cause storage fees are cheaper than scrapping them back home. There was a very long silence on the consortium side of the channel. A couple thousand, Vok said. To no one, to everyone. Give or take, Dale said. I just tow what's on the manifest, man. That was the moment it landed for Yara. Not as a number, but as a shape. A species that had built weapons capable of ending their own war, used them exactly once, and then treated the leftovers the way everyone else treated broken furniture. Not hidden, not guarded, just out back, gathering dust, occasionally towed somewhere for a better price. They're not a threat, she said slowly. They're inventory. Nobody on the bridge found a way to make that sound less terrifying. Vok almost called a fleet-wide alert, hand hovering over the console, before he made himself stop and think about how that message would read. Border Command, please respond. We are being menaced by a man dropping off used furniture. He lowered his hand. Whatever this was, it wasn't an invasion. It was worse. It was a Tuesday. Get me everything on human salvage runs, he said instead. Every listing. Every depot. Yara already had it pulled up. She wished she didn't. Vok pulled up the auction listing Dale had casually mentioned, half expecting a joke, and found 600 more hulls awaiting pickup at 3 separate human depots, filed under categories like fair condition and minor hull damage, weapons intact. Someone in procurement had even left a review complaining about slow delivery times. They rate them, he said, quietly, to nobody in particular. Like cargo containers. He closed the listing before he could read the star ratings. Dale finished his paperwork, stretched, and radioed the depot one last time before heading home. Anyway, if nobody's manning that berth, I'll just leave the tag on Unit 1, and you guys can sort it out yourselves. Same time next month, probably got a bigger lot coming through, 16 units. Some of them might still have torpedoes loaded, so, watch your fingers. He signed off, finished his cold coffee, and pointed the tug home, blissfully unaware that an entire fleet had just quietly agreed, over a closed channel, never to mention this shift again. Kess filed his incident report under resolved no further action, because the alternative was explaining to his superiors that consortium space had just been used as an overflow parking lot by a man who called it a run. Somewhere past Jupiter, 600 more units were still waiting to be picked up.